Shout out to each and every one of you guys for coming back with another video. It's another live stream. This one is on Gervonta Davis comments on Timothy Bradley. Now, I don't necessarily agree with disrespecting fighters to accomplish things in boxing, but Tank Davis does have a point, except he has his numbers wrong. But if you go and look at Timothy Bradley's resume, Timothy Bradley in his first 21 fights, or his first 20 fights, I believe, didn't really face nobody of note. He was winning competitions and shit, but he wasn't facing anybody of note. And his 21st fight, he faced Miguel Vasquez. All right, now Tank Davis says 26 fights. That's not true. Miguel Vasquez, who later became the long-reigning I think IBF lightweight champion of the world. But at the time, Miguel Vasquez hadn't faced anybody of note. All right, which is what Tank is really making the point of. So it was really in his 22nd fight that Timothy Bradley actually faced somebody that was worth talking about, which was Junior Witter. Okay, and Junior Witter up to that point had faced and lost the championship to Zab Judah, the super lightweight championship, and then I think he faced, I think it was two notable names in boxing, if I'm not mistaken. I could always go and check it on BoxTrack. But even so, it was 22 fights he had. And the only notable name he had in the 22 fights was Junior Witter and Miguel Vasquez. And Miguel Vasquez hadn't done nothing in boxing so far at that point. So Tank was saying that, Timothy Bradley was criticizing him, saying he's fighting Bum at the Month Club and stuff. Tank was saying, listen, man, first of all, I'm much younger than you. I'm 21 years of age. I'm a baby in the sport, and I've accomplished more than you. And I've done it in 22 fights. I faced Jose Pedraza. Jose Pedraza faced some notable names. Let me see if I can find them as I'm here. Yeah, he said I faced Jose Pedraza, and I also faced Jesus Cuela, right? And Jesus Cuela fought some good fighters too. Let me type him in. What am I doing? There you go. Now, Timothy Bradley, after he faced Junior Witter, only faced names. He only faced names. His career has no stay busy fights after that. So you got Timothy Bradley his props on that. Now, Gervonta Davis was actually making a point. And there's a lot I want to say. I was saying that the kid that faced Shakur Stevenson, I forgot what his name is. It'll come back to me in a minute. The kid that fought Shakur Stevenson, he wasn't all that and stuff. That dude in the amateurs beat Gervonta Davis. I saw the fight. And Gervonta Davis is a hell of a fighter. Okay, so Jose Pedraza. Jose Pedraza, at the time when he faced Gervonta Davis, had faced three notable names in boxing. Okay? Pedraza had faced Edner Cherry, very good boxer. He had also faced Andrei Klimov, and he had also faced Michael Farinas. Okay, Michael Farinas. Michael Farinas had faced guys like Yurkus Gamboa and gave him a tough fight. Oh, he had also faced Tevin Farmer. He beat Tevin Farmer. He had beaten Michael Farinas. He had beaten Andrei Klimov, and he had beaten Edner Cherry. Okay, so when he faced Gervonta Davis, those were the names that he had beaten. And he was world champion. He won the world championship, the vacant world championship against Andrei Klimov. All right. Then you have Jesus Marcelos Andres Cuela. That was the other guy. And Cuela was really a featherweight champion, but he had fought some pretty good names as well. He had fought Abner Maris, and he had a split decision loss to Abner Maris. He had also beaten Vic Narchinian to become the WBA World Featherweight Champion. And he had also faced Juan Manuel Lopez, who was the super bantamweight and featherweight world champion. And then he had lost a couple. And then he faced Jesus Cuellar, for the interim WBA featherweight championship. He also faced Rico Ramos, who also faced Guillermo Rigondeaux and a number of other names and people. So he had some notable names also on his resume here. Okay. So these two guys that Gervonta Davis faced in his 22 fights are much better than Timothy Bradley faced in his 22 fights. And now he's going to be facing Yorkis Gamboa, the guy that Michael Farinas had faced. And Gamboa is not a slouch. He's a very quick, sharp fighter. And they're saying Gervonta Davis will get him out of there really quickly. We'll see. Sometimes, you know how this year has been in the year of upsets and stuff, and people have been putting up good fights. So I wouldn't be surprised if Gamboa gives Gervonta a really good fight and says, "Welcome to the lightweight division, motherfucker." So I wouldn't be surprised if Gervonta can't get him out of there as quickly as he thought, because um, all of the fighters that Gervonta has faced, Jesus Cuellar and um, Jose Pedraza, they're not fast, sharp, combinational punching fighters. So, Gamboa is that. So, and he gave, Gamboa gives everybody a tough fight. So it'd be interesting to see how Gervonta does. It may get him out of there in 5 rounds, but because Gamboa is more of a 4 round fighter, and then he kind of slows down. But it would be interesting if he can deal with Gamboa's power, his skill set, and so on. And I know Gervonta Davis is very, very good, but I'm just saying. But after Yuriorkis Gamboa, if he really wants to throw that talk at Timothy Bradley, he better face top tier competition only. No more stay busy fights. No more easy names. I know he's a young boxer, and that's the other point I want to make. That all of these fighters who are getting championships, whether it's Gervonta Davis, whether it's Devin Haney, or whether it's Shakur Stevenson, these are babies. Like Shakur Stevens is 20 years old, Devin Haney is 20 years old, Gervonta Davis is 22. They're young, 21 years old, sorry. They're all young guys. And that's very impressive that these guys at such an early age have already become world champion. It's very, very impressive. Gervonta Davis did it in 16 fights. Devin Haney did it in 15, I think, 14 or 15, and Shakur Stevenson in about that figure as well. It's really remarkable. And these guys look like they will surpass Canelo, because if they're beginning and they're becoming champions so early, Floyd got championship in 18 fights. These motherfuckers are getting championship in 16, 15. They're doing like Lomachenko on these dudes. And it's just crazy, this new batch of fighters, how fast they're going in the game and developing. And we put so much pressure and demands on them, not understanding these, the past fighters, even Pernell Whitaker and Oscar De La Hoya didn't have it this fast. I mean, Lomachenko spoiled us because Lomachenko had a championship in, I think, his third fight, something like that. But this is not something normal, people. Okay, and so they're young. Lomachenko was not young like that. So, and Guillermo Rigondeaux wasn't young like that. So it's really amazing that these guys at this early age, so young, even Josh Warrington, these are young cats. This is a new, and the other thing that Gervonta Davis said is, he grew up dealing with Shakur Stevenson, with, Richardson Hitchens, with, Devin Haney. He knows these guys. They know him, and they know what they're capable of. And he says, you fans in the boxing world don't know what we're capable of, but we know what we're capable of. And he said that just to make everybody understand, because Joet Gonzalez was the guy that Shakur Stevenson dealt with so easily. Joet Gonzalez, he won against Gervonta Davis in the amateurs in a 4-rounder. Gervonta Davis was really going at him, and I don't know what happened. He just kind of stopped fighting, and I don't know if his trainer or coach said stop fighting or something. I don't know if he got damaged or something. But Joet Gonzalez beat Gervonta Davis in the amateurs, just to let you guys know. Gervonta Davis actually beat Erickson Lubin in the amateurs. I'm watching the amateur fights of these guys, and it's amazing. Some of these fighters could do some shit. And when you see what they can do in the amateurs, you realize, in the pros, they bad motherfuckers. They're going. That's why I said, I'm going to say it again. Gervonta Davis beats Vasily Lomachenko. I've seen what these kids can do in the amateurs. I've seen what they... If you go and watch Floyd Mayweather in the amateurs, you realize just how incredible he was. And what he did in the pros didn't even approximate what he was doing in the amateurs. And when you see what Gervonta Davis was doing in the amateurs, now he's in the pros, of course he's bigger and stronger now, you realize what he's capable of. And just go watch these kids in their amateur fights. Start going and watching their amateur bouts. Go watch Terrence Crawford in his amateur bouts. Go watch the amateurs tell you what kind of fighter you're dealing with, what kind of skills you're dealing with. It's not fully developed and everything, but it tells you something about them. You know, when you look at Thomas Hearns in the amateurs, then you get a feeling of what Thomas Hearns really was going to be. So, you know, Joey Gonzalez really is a very good fighter. It's just Shakur Stevenson made him look ordinary. And that tells you a lot about Shakur Stevenson, how good he is. And so these kids know, I call them kids because to them they're like many years younger than I am, several decades younger than I am. These kids, man, they are early. Their careers are very early. It's very early in the game with these kids. Okay, so there's a lot of things I think that people do not understand. So when Gervonta Davis started trash talking Timothy Bradley, I thought it was a bit disrespectful in the sense that Timothy Bradley has accomplished a lot, motherfucker. You ain't accomplished nothing yet. You know, keep your trap shut. You do build your legacy and let him talk. Let him bump his mouth. You just do what you do. But he decided to clap back. He even clapped back with the Amir Khan issue where he said Timothy Bradley ducked Amir Khan. But I don't think he ducked Amir Khan because he avoided Amir Khan. You can't say he ducked it. We faced Joel Casamignon after. You can't really say that, can you? But yeah, he avoided Amir Khan. He didn't want that Amir Khan fight and join with Top Rank so he could get Pacquiao. So it is what it is. But at the end of the day, you know, he went a different career pathway. I mean, he could have still fought Amir Khan and then fought, you know, whoever, but he did not face Amir Khan. It is what it is. Um, but at the end of the day, when you look at Timothy Bradley's career, he had no fucking stay busy fights um, after he faced Junior Witter. So we expect Gervonta Davis to do the same. If you want to clap back at Timothy Bradley, now you open your mouth and you said what you said. Now if you go on, you fight another fucking dud. You know, if you fight a Leo Santa Cruz, we can't say nothing because he's a name in the boxing. If you face a fucking Gary Russell Jr., we can't say nothing. If you face an Abner Maris, we can't say nothing, right? If you face a Vasily Lomachenko, we can't say nothing. If you face a Devin Haney, we can't say nothing. We gotta keep our trap shut. But now our eyes are gonna be on you, Gervonta. You know what I'm saying? You get in the past with Demarcus Gamboa, who we know he ain't in his best days, but he still got skills that he brings to the table, which makes him probably more competitive with you than say you might even go 5 rounds. You might go the whole distance, or you may go 10 rounds with this guy because people thinking you're gonna just dust him and get him out of there. This is fucking Demarcus Gamboa. That ain't happening like that, right? He did get knocked out by some no-name guy, but that wasn't the best Demarcus Gamboa. You're gonna get the best Demarcus Gamboa because motherfucking Gamboa is saying, "Oh, this is a rising star. I'm gonna clap his ass up." Gamboa gonna be ready for your ass. Trust me on this. He gonna be ready for you. So this is not gonna be an easy fight, as you think. You might have a lot of skills, but he does belong in the ring with you, and you will realize that pretty soon. All right. And he got speed too. So I ain't being that lightweight longer than your ass. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see what Gervonta. You know, Errol Spence was talking that talk against with what's his name? He was talking that shit. He was talking that shit to Sean Porter. And Sean Porter showed him something. Don't be talking that shit about Gamboa. I know he's like 36 years old, but that don't mean shit. And you know, I was looking at Luis Ortiz too, just a byway. This is a kind of segue outside of the scope of the discussion. But I was looking at Luis Ortiz, and he's training with Sean Porter's strength and conditioning coach. We all know that Luis Ortiz was not in the best condition when he faced Deontay Wilder the first time. Right? He expended a lot of energy in the 8th round trying to get Deontay Wilder out of there. Let's see what happens when he has better conditioning. People are saying Wilder will get him out sooner. I don't know, Ninja. I don't know. We're going to see. We are going to see. It's going to be a good fight, though. It's going to be a fight. That just made a big difference. When I saw the strength and conditioning coach that Sean Porter uses being with Luis Ortiz and snacking shit, I don't know, man. I just don't know. I know Wilder's an underrated boxer. I know that. He's smart. He fights smart, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It's going to be a good rematch, though. It's going to be a good rematch. So that's basically what I have to say. I just thought those were little points that a lot of people forget how young these fighters are. Even Canelo. Canelo's younger than Demetrius Andrade. He's younger than Jamal Charlo. They're older than him. He's only 29 years of age. He's still a baby, and this is something that people just don't actually, it hasn't registered in their head. He's a very young guy, and he's doing some ridiculous things, and his career's not over. And I think a lot of people are thinking, he's fighting all these old greats and all these old people. Why is he facing all of them? Because he wants to get them on his resume. If Jamal Charlo could have done that, he would have get those guys on his resume. Didn't he beat? By the way, they can't. Jamal Charlo can't criticize shit. Didn't he face what's that kid's name? What's that guy? Cornelius Bundridge, who was old as fuck. He was 42 years old or some shit like that, and knocked his ass out. So I mean, he can't. Jamal Charlo can't say shit. He can't say shit about nothing, right? Because he fought Cornelius Bundridge's old ass. Then he fought this other guy, Sebastian Highland, I think was his name. Motherfucker's legs was messed up. I was watching that fight today. His legs was messed up. Come on, man. So Jamal Charlo, he can't say shit. He can't say shit. Canelo was going after greatness, and that's all he can say. You know what I'm saying? Now he does want to fight Canelo though. So I would like to see Canelo face Jamal Charlo. I'd like to see Canelo face Demetrius Andrade, just because I want to see those fights. I feel he'll win against Jamal Charlo. That's my feeling. I think Chris Eubank Jr. also has a good chance of really putting a competitive fight against Jamal Charlo, even beating him, because Chris Eubank is a big fucking middleweight. And on top of that, he's got a fucking ridiculous work rate. He's not very accurate, but he can take a punch and he can really throw punches, and he hits hard. So if Jamal Charlo, it's like a storm, like a hailstorm coming at you with Chris Eubank Jr., and you have to be able to steer through it, navigate through that shit. And Jamal Charlo is a hell of a jab, but and a powerful jab at that. But I don't think it's stopping Chris Eubank Jr. I don't think that jab's stopping. Chris Eubank Jr. is like a beast. He got ridiculous cardio, ridiculous work rate, and that's the shit that can wear you down if it's just coming at you nonstop. So it'd be interesting to see if Eubank Jr. would swallow up. That's Eubank Jr. coming back down to the middleweight division makes it very exciting. In fact, I would love to see Chris Eubank Jr. against Gennady Golovkin and see what if Golovkin could handle him, box him. I've been watching Jamal Charlo also training, and I've realized that Jamal Charlo also, who's a youngin as well. They're all young guys, but Jamal Charlo's older than Canelo. But these guys, man, it's nice to see them up and coming, and there's a lot of buzz around them. So we'll see what happens with Jamal Charlo and also Demetrius Andrade. Charlo going to have to pick somebody very soon, right? Jarrett Hurd also, he's a hot one. He's going to be coming up to middleweight, maybe Jaime Munguia. That makes the middleweight division even that much hotter. So, I mean, I can't wait. I don't know if Canelo will go back down to middleweight. I hope he does. Get some 1 or 2 fights out there. There's always going to be somebody new. There's always going to be somebody hot for Canelo to face. So, I mean, but I just wanted to finish the unfinished business between Charlo and Andrade. Those are the 2 guys that was in his division, the weight class below. We may have to give him a pass on Jarrett Hurd and on Jaime Munguia, because if those guys come into the division, you're just going to have to say, you know what, man, there's only so many I can face at middleweight, and move up to super middleweight and do your thing. Or if he catches Jamal Charlo and Demetrius Andrade at super middleweight, I know they both can make it. I mean, Charlo's a big fucking middleweight, and so is Demetrius Andrade. So, any one of those things. But it'd be nice for him to face those guys, as well as Billy Joe Saunders. I think all those guys were at middleweight, and it feels like unfinished business when you don't face these guys that have been in the same weight class with you. Floyd had unfinished business with Cotto. He had unfinished business with Hatton. Those were 2 guys that were prominent in the junior welterweight division, and he closed up shop on that. And I think Canelo can do the same. He should. And I think those guys actually have precedence. Billy Joe Saunders is looking for that Canelo fight, so he might get that first before Demetrius Andrade, unless Demetrius Andrade can somehow entice him into a fight with him and beat Billy Joe Saunders. Then Canelo will be pushed up into the situation of facing Demetrius Andrade. But Canelo has so many fucking options. That's the problem. We'll see what he does. But in the meantime, I'm talking about these youngins, and we got a lot of youngins out here. Canelo might be leading the pack in terms of the young guys right now, but some of these youngins gonna just surpass him. We've seen young Josh Taylor doing his thing, Regis Prograis. We got Jose Ramirez, who did his thing against um, um, the kid from Texas. So we've seen a lot of really good stuff happening in boxing. Of course, we got the Bivol. Bivol's a young dude. He's about in his 30s, but nonetheless, he's still pretty young. We got Beta BF out there. We still got Vordik. Vordik, Barrera, Alvarez, Elite Alvarez, that is, Jack, Brown, Pascal, Ramirez, all of those guys are in that division. So it's like a lot of really good, talented fighters. The boxing is very vibrant and alive, vibrant and alive. I'm gonna talk about the next topic. I'm gonna talk about. I'm gonna get to the live stream very soon. Coming out of this one. Deuces to people. Don't forget to smash that like button. Subscribe to this channel, and if you want, donate by Western Union or MoneyGram. I'm gonna catch you guys later. Peace.